When no one is watching, when the noise fades and the world stops applauding or criticizing, the rich do not relax into laziness. They sharpen themselves. They think differently in silence than most people think out loud. This is where the real divide begins. Not in cars or houses or bank statements, but in the unseen moments where thoughts are formed, beliefs are reinforced, and identity is quietly decided. Wealth is not created in public. It is created in private, in the conversations you have with yourself when there is nothing to gain by pretending. Most people believe the rich think about money all the time. They don't. They think about value. They think about cause and effect. They think about leverage, direction, and long-term consequence. While the average mind is obsessed with spending, the wealthy mind is occupied with building. While one asks, how much does this cost? The other asks, what does this produce over time? The single shift in thinking compounds silently, day after day, until the gap becomes so wide it looks like luck from the outside. When the rich are alone, they review their standards. They ask themselves hard questions without flinching. Am I growing or am I repeating yesterday? Am I disciplined or am I negotiating with comfort? They do not wait for accountability from others because they carry it within. This is why they can be trusted with greater responsibility, because they do not require supervision to do what must be done. Andrew Carnegie built his empire by mastering his own mind before mastering industry. He understood that self-command precedes all other forms of power. The rich think in terms of ownership, even when they own nothing yet. Ownership of skill, ownership of outcomes, ownership of mistakes. The poor mind avoids responsibility because it feels heavy. The wealthy mind embraces it because it feels powerful. When something fails, they do not search for someone to blame. They search for something to learn. Every setback becomes data. Every loss becomes tuition. This is how failure turns into wisdom instead of bitterness. When no one is watching, the rich rehearse their vision. Not casually, not vaguely, but vividly. They see outcomes before they exist. They imagine environments they have not yet entered. Napoleon Hill called this the power of imagination, the workshop of the mind. Walt Disney walked through Disneyland in his thoughts long before a single brick was laid. Others saw an empty field. He saw families laughing, music playing, stories breathing into reality. The mind must arrive before the body can follow. They are ruthless with their focus. Distraction is treated like theft. Time is guarded like capital because they understand it is capital. While others escape into entertainment to forget their lives, the rich use learning to redesign theirs. They read when it would be easier to scroll. They think when it would be easier to react. They invest in understanding because understanding pays dividends forever. Henry Ford did not memorize facts. He assembled minds smarter than his own and directed them with clarity. That is strategic thinking, knowing what matters most and refusing to be diluted. Emotionally, the rich train themselves to respond, not react. They do not allow temporary feelings to dictate permanent decisions. Fear is acknowledged, not obeyed. Doubt is examined, not trusted. This emotional discipline creates stability, and stability attracts opportunity. People trust those who are internally steady. Markets reward those who are psychologically consistent. This is why emotional control is not a soft skill. It is a financial one. Gratitude plays a hidden role here. Not the performative gratitude spoken for approval, but the quiet recognition of progress, lessons, and leverage. Gratitude keeps the mind expansive. It prevents desperation, and desperation repels everything it chases. A grateful mind remains patient, and patience allows strategy to unfold. The rich understand that impatience is expensive. It leads to shortcuts, poor partnerships, and decisions made under pressure instead of principle. Adaptability is another private habit. When no one is watching, the rich update their thinking. They question assumptions. They release methods that no longer serve them. They are not loyal to being right. They are loyal to being effective. When industries change, they change with them. When information evolves, they evolve faster. Stagnation is treated as a warning sign, not a resting place. This flexibility keeps them relevant, while others become obsolete, clinging to how things used to be. Resilience is built in these unseen moments as well. The rich expect resistance. They plan for delays. They do not romanticize the journey, but they commit to it fully. Abraham Lincoln faced repeated defeat before leading a divided nation. His private thoughts were not filled with entitlement, but with resolve. He understood that endurance is not loud. It is loyal. Loyal to purpose. Loyal to principle. Loyal to the long game. When no one is watching, the rich speak to themselves with authority. Their inner dialogue is not abusive or indulgent, it is directive. They command their attention. They remind themselves who they are becoming. Identity is reinforced daily, quietly, deliberately. Income eventually aligns with identity because the world reflects back what you consistently project through action. This is the truth most people never see. Wealth is a side effect of alignment. Alignment between thought and behavior, between vision and discipline, between patience and persistence. Directing differential when no one is watching, because they understand that Tint needs to watch for the work to count. The mind is always watching. Life is always responding. And now, the question turns toward you. How do you out? Think when the room is empty. What standards do you keep when there is no applause? What vision do you rehearse when there is no reward yet insight? Because the moment you change how you think in private, the world will have no choice but to change how it treats you in public. Subscribe for more videos.